most all that's true. Bringing you Bigfoot news, yo. Watching in the woods, catching all the clues. Digging deep to bring you all the news. From sightings to footprints, it's all in the light. Stay tuned to Squatch-D, it's out of sight.
Hey, good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to the Bigfoot News for February 9th, 2024, episode 4. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, along with the man downstairs, Mr. Chris Bennett, as we look at the news for the week, or at least what we believe is the news of the
week. Yeah, not a lot of breaking news here lately on Bigfoot, but
I actually think there is.
Really?
I think so. I think some of the stuff is kind of groundbreaking, and
yeah, that part, yeah.
But yeah, I want to throw out a couple of things. I want to thank B Lynn for becoming a YouTube member. B has been one of our past here for a long time, and we want to congratulate Brian and Chewy Go Hiking for being a member here for 8 months.
Brian, thanks so much.
He's definitely in the Niners camp for the Super Bowl. Of course, as a reminder, you know what we're doing Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
We have on this week, and I know we're competing up against the Super Bowl, so if you want to watch the Super Bowl, go right ahead.
Yeah, catch it on the replay.
Catch it on the replay. But this week we have the one and only Dr. Jeff Meldrum. So It's going to be a great show. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have I'm sure there's going to be 1,001 questions. We're going to try to get as many as we can to them. Yeah. And I'll say this, that members are going to have first shot at the questions, because that's something we promised them as membership, is getting some question time up front. Yeah. So, but we're going to take all the questions we can in the 2 hour time period we have. And, I know, Dr. Meldrum does talk. So if you ask a question, don't expect a short answer. It's going to be a good one. So anyway, let's do the roll call in the chat real quick. I asked the question, who is first today? And B Lynn came in and said, well, I am. There she is.
Thanks, B.
And then of course we have Dennis Conroy.
Hey, Dennis.
Hello. OT in the house.
OT.
M and Chris is in the house. As I've been kind of dropping the ball in the Bigfoot weather and Bigfoot traffic. Very true. Brian and Chewy Go Hiking, of course.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Tea Time with Tiffany is in the house. Hello, Tiffany.
Welcome, Tea Time with Tiffany. All right. Very cool.
And we got Mitch Hargrove in the house. How you doing, Mitch? Good to see you, sir. Hey, and we have Brian.
Thanks, Mitch.
King Sharp lurking in the mix there with his great podcast, Sasquatch Odyssey.
Yeah, good to
then
see
we got Mick in the house.
Hey, Mick.
My friend Mick. We got Nikki over from Sasquatch Secrets.
Nikki, welcome.
Hey, and we got Mike from Kark as well. We got a great crew in here tonight. We got Charlotte J. I know Charlotte J and I have been yapping together on Facebook today. Some posts. And Angel Nolan in the house.
Angel.
Good to see you, Angel.
Welcome back, bud.
Pete H in the house, one of our members. Hello, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Tennessee Cherokee also here as well.
All right.
And returning also is Timberline Camp. Good to see you, Timberline.
Welcome.
Yep. Little Kilroy was here.
Kilroy.
And that's it for now. That's all our talkers for now. So
good. Yeah.
But we want to welcome you all. So we are at the 5-minute mark, and we have conducted all our business.
So, well, do you want to jump into Bigfoot news? Putting trolls in their place, Steve.
That's what we were doing today. There was, and I'll go over that real quick. There was a comment made by, and we mentioned him last week on the Bigfoot news, Todd Gatewood, who basically trolled the paranormal production, see Wayne Tethro's page on his Bigfoot podcast. And basically he was saying, oh, yeah, they're so negative and all they do is this and blah, blah, blah. And he made like 4 negative comments, and then he ends it by saying he wants everybody to keep positive.
Wow, that's kind of
stupid. That's kind of stupid. Let's face it.
It's kind of strange, yeah.
That's right, Dennis. What about all the lurkers? And just so you know, folks, if and let me conduct one more bit of business too. If you guys are listening to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Castbox, if you're listening, Apple Play, Google Podcasts, if you're listening to any one of this, come on over to youtube.com @squatchdtv. Check the videos that we do. If you have time, I know you like to listen to it in the car or at work, and we appreciate everybody out there that's doing their job, that's doing their job and out there working. And we love you guys too, and we know that you're keeping the country rolling, and we appreciate all of that as well.
Right. Just check in the YouTube channel to check out some videos every now and then, because even during the show, sometimes we'll show video that's relevant to the discussion, to what you've heard on the podcast.
So, come on in. Anyway, let's get on to the news tonight. And first up, Brian King Sharp over at Sasquatch Odyssey. People have been asking, he's been putting up a lot of like almost clickbaity type of things, with these videos, and these videos are crap. But I kind of suspected what was going on.
Right.
What Brian was doing was a social media experiment. And we've done that here on this, on the shorts line as well here. I mean, that's what we do as content creators. No matter what platform you're on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we experiment to see what's going to hit the chord of people's interests. Now, we do, like I said, he put question marks on the stuff. That's fine with me. He's not saying it's a Bigfoot. That's fine with me. And he's just simply, hey, we ran a series for a little while called "Is This Bigfoot?" on shorts,
right? And
that did fairly well. And I think of course, I would expect, it's easier maybe to get a lot of social media engagement on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, where people are always. YouTube, not so much. YouTube is a very, the chat is wonderful. But the messaging, the way it's leaving comments, very, very difficult to get a flow of conversation going on sometimes, I think.
Right.
So I think, you get a little more social media engagement on like platforms like Instagram and Facebook. So in that, Brian did make a statement, and we're gonna run the statement and see what let's check what Brian has to say, and this is it.
Is the social media experiment that I've been doing here over the last 10 posts or so. We've been having a lot of lack of engagement on social media for quite a while now, and we've been trying to sort of figure that out. And so I decided to do a little bit of an experiment. And I went back and looked at the last 10 posts on Instagram because of the lack of engagement. And again, most of the things that I post are show related, or about the book that just came out, or hikes on the property, some of the research that's been done on the property, some of the things we do on the property as far as research, taking the dogs out, showing you new areas, things that I thought people might be interested in seeing, right? So I looked at the last 10 posts that were basically me doing that. When I looked at the engagement, I found the last 10 posts before this new experiment that I just did. We had 398 likes and 60 comments for 10 posts. So I started pulling videos. Now, none of these videos, I haven't made them. I've pulled them from other places on the internet, on the interwebs, from other people, and just reposted them. Most of them with a question mark. I made no definitive statements about them being Sasquatch or what I thought they were. I just asked a simple question. Is this Bigfoot or not? And the engagement was literally 3 to 4 times greater on all of those posts collectively. More than twice the amount of likes, roughly 4 times, almost 4 times the amount of comments for these videos. It was a resounding, clear yes. Clickbait clearly gets more engagement. That's why people do it. That's why Todd Standing has almost 120,000 followers on his YouTube channel. There's a reason that some of these shows and these other people that post clickbait have 80 to 100,000 followers on Instagram. And
So there you have it.
Mm.
I think actually that was an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Definitely a great social experiment.
Yeah.
Brings up a lot of great points. Hey, that's why people do this.
Right.
Because it's too easy. It's easy. Oh, I'll just start putting these Bigfoot videos up here, claiming they're Bigfoot. There is one particular organization which kind of goes over the top with it, and that's the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization, who they have these stories, and the stories, they act like they're doing deep dives, but they're really not. They're just repeating what it was said or what was posted. Occasionally they'll say they spoke to these people, but there's no receipts for any of that stuff. So that bothers me in of itself when there's no receipts to a thing. Now, I will say this, and I did reach out to Steve Isdall, who is now in his latest video says he's going to get some people on camera to give their stories.
Oh, that's great.
So I applaud that. And he had a video. He had a picture. Was it a blob squatch? Yes. And the picture of the blob squatch was followed up with the person saw it and took a picture, and that's all they wanted to do, and they got out of there. The bottom line is, he says, what you need to do is you need to go back out there with some people and take some other pictures, so you can estimate he was giving all good advice.
Right. That's
so
great.
I can't knock that. So I did reach out to Steve, and I had said, you know what? I know we have a lot of differences, but I said, I think at least that's the vibe I get, that he wants to see the mystery solved.
Right.
He wants to see witness vindication. And I reached out to Steve Isdall, and I offered him to come on the show at some point, so we can have a conversation about common ground rather than things that separate us, and see where it goes from there. See if that can really happen. See if he even answers that, because I know people,
Is Watson in there with you?
He is behind me.
I think I hear him banging his tail on something. You hear that?
He's sound asleep.
Oh, okay.
So I have
Maybe
no
it's here. I don't know.
Chris, do you have a ghost?
I hope not. They're not welcome here if they exist. We don't have any of that stuff here.
And just so folks know, Jeff over at Pine Island Research is doing a show at 10 p.m. tonight. I suggest everybody pop on over there and check his show out.
Yeah.
He's going to have a great conversation tonight. And before I forget, I want to thank Cryptic Crystal for sending a $2 super sticker over.
Crystal,
thank you so much. Thank you
And
so much.
We'll say hi to Jeff Smith.
Yep. And Jeff D is out there, and Arthur Watch slipped in, and Don Fuller slipped in, and Jeff from Pine Island Research slipped in, and even Cryptic Crystal slipped in too. So hello, guys.
Welcome.
Well, Mick says, don't buy it. Isdall will just use you for credibility ratings. You know what? At this point, his channel has 320,000 followers. Does he need credibility? At what point? And I understand that he's not looking for credibility. At least that's not the vibe I get. Now, do I agree with some of his beliefs? Absolutely not. Do I think, again, there is, Brian's social media experiment kind of proves the point.
Right.
Is that, posting these things and leaving things open up ended like Bigfoot stories. And we've done Squatch stories here as well.
Yeah. But they put the question in there, and it makes it kind of clicky. You know what I mean?
Let's just say this. If there's somebody we can turn to the light, through conversation,
right,
Steve Isdall would be the person to go. to try to change. We're not going to do it with Todd Standing. He's got a lot of
Oh,
hoaxes
no.
out there.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Yeah.
do it with the Biscardi. We're not going to do it with Dr. Matt Johnson. We're not going to do it with the RMSO. So that's what it is. If we can kind of get him to open up his mind to some of our ideas, it may actually. Oh yeah, and let's not forget MVTV that just posts clickbait all around as well. And they have done nothing substantial. So, and it looks like Ristall has snuck in, as well as Brent from the Tall Ones, who will be our guest in just a week from Sunday.
Right.
We have Dr. Jeff. We have Dr.
35
Jeff.
people in the chat.
We have Dr. Jeff on Sunday, and the following Sunday we have Brent. So anyway, let's get on to our next story. If you're ready to go.
Sure.
And Darren Lee writes columns for the Stillwell Democrat.
Yeah.
And this one, he wrote a column that just came out a few days ago called Sighting Reports Still Necessary. Chris, this is all you, baby.
With the popularity of finding Bigfoot, more and more people are coming forward with purported sightings. Many are far-fetched on the details, a result of individuals attempting to obtain their 15 minutes of fame, or just the attention they get from Bigfoot researchers. True. This begs the question in terms of these wild stories that are turned in. Does the Bigfoot community accept these into the overall databases in which the data itself becomes corrupted by them? Now, that's a good question. While a small percentage of the deluge of sighting reports may be credible, having to filter this content out is bogging down researchers from doing more direct research. Researchers should begin questioning potential witnesses about their viewership of Bigfoot-related television shows, as this apparently is influencing many of the reports. The advantages that sighting reports give the big researcher community are invaluable, but it causes a dilemma when garbage is put into the collective known databases. Before the proliferation of Bigfoot television shows and the rampant misinformation being circulated by people on social media, most reports were turned in by people who weren't influenced by this influx of bad information and the romanticism of Bigfoot research. The MABRC took most reports before 2010 and broke down the information in which data was produced in various formats. The data gives researchers a clear pattern of habits and more active times to encounter a Bigfoot. As more people turn in reports, this convolutes the data. While sighting reports should always be accepted, the researcher must filter out the more suspect information before letting it circulate across the community. Researchers must self-police the reports. And remember, the Oklahoma Bigfoot Symposium is next month, the second weekend at CC Camp. Keep an eye out for Bigfoot running around Stillwell. He might just have free tickets for the event with him if you can find him. Well, I thought that was a great article. Oh, you're muted, Steve.
I know. I was taking it off. Problem is, I don't have a button I can push, and I'm going to try to resolve that soon. But yeah, all great points. Is that at one point we used to get Bigfoot reports that were very common. He makes another great point in the influence of misinformation on Bigfoot reporting.
Right.
People wonder, everybody's saying all this woo stuff lately, and well, you can't ignore all the people that have been reporting the woo stuff now. But the fact is that researchers like Darren and I and others, have been around for many, many years. Tom Steenberg as well.
Mm-hmm.
We never saw the influx of the woo as bad as it is, and it's due to misinformation.
Right.
People, it's almost like a group hysteria thing almost. So, that to me is a very big issue. There's everybody hears a tree knock and they're reporting it.
Right.
Everybody hears something in the woods, they're reporting it. Somebody sees a nest, or they're reporting it. Somebody sees a laydown area, they're reporting it.
Right.
They're actually taking what should I say, these findings of intelligence we find around legitimate Bigfoot reports. Okay, somebody has a sighting, and then, okay, now we have these strange stick breaks or stick structures over here, or we take a Bigfoot report, and now there seems to be a laydown area over here. That's what it's supposed to be tied to, but now we're getting just these pieces of evidence or observations, I should say.
Right.
Excuse me. We see these observations being presented as the full Monty, and they're not.
Right.
And that's what say you?
It's always good to be skeptical, and a lot of times I catch myself, you don't want to be biased, but you've got to remain skeptical. Now, I find myself listening to reports more that match what I've witnessed, what things that I know that they do, or things that I have seen. And, I got to watch myself about that, because I don't know everything that there is to know about them. I don't know hardly anything. I just know what I know, and that's about all I can say. But I think it's good to remain skeptical. If somebody wants to come and tell me about their Bigfoot sighting, I'm going to listen to it intently. And but now, if the first thing they say is, I saw Bigfoot step off the UFO, okay, to be honest, I'm not going to be listening to that sighting very diligently. I consider that as, well, somebody just pulling my leg, or they're wanting attention.
And there's a great conversation that Don Fuller made up. And I agree that was wrong. And maybe those are some of the things that we can talk about. Maybe we can have him walk back some of that. We'll see. If like I said, and I give it maybe a 20% chance that he'll come on the show, to tell you the truth, but we're giving him the opportunity. And then, if something needs grilling, then we will, I'm sure, if he's the man he claims to be, he'll be able to sit in the hot seat and answer questions.
Well, sure.
Yeah. Because that's what I would do if somebody wants to put me on the hot seat and banter me over something. Go right ahead. I love tough interviews. Somebody, I'll never, when I really came back the end of, towards the middle of 2009, I was very happy to sit there and take whatever people threw at me. And that was right after post hoax of, the Bigfoot body hoax.
Right.
And I was kind of dumped on for no good reason, because everybody wanted somebody to hang real fast, and I wouldn't do it because I need the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hang them until I got the receipts. And once I got the receipts, I hung them. But the problem was everybody. So when I came back, everybody's like, well, why didn't you? And I was fine. Give me the tough questions. I love tough questions. So if there's any kind of man, if we get him on the show, I love tough questions. But getting back to Darren's story, I really think he hits the nail on the head. It's great observations from somebody that's been around. Stuff we've talked about here definitely too.
Right.
That how come, all these reports are post social media, like all this influx of woo. I mean, before social media, we had some stories by Kawani Lapsaritis, where we had stories from Eric Beckford, and there's a few others, but they were only very few. I mean, literally, you probably could count them on maybe 10 to 15 people. You count them on, a hand and a half, or hand and a, 2 hands and a foot. Now, you'd have to get a whole stadium full of people to say, oh, I've seen. So I think he makes some great points there.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of weed through the sighting reports, and if you're investigating a biological creature, then you could probably ignore the ones that would say that they saw it stepping out of a portal, or the UFO, or something of that nature.
Or I don't even necessarily revert to those. I may not add them to my collection of legitimate reports. Right. I would put them in the question mark report, because they may be experienced. Like I said, I'm not quick to dismiss everything.
Right.
Because there's scientific Yeah.
Yeah.
evidence that shows that people have those. You have post-traumatic regression, you have PTSD, you have effects of possible infrasound or other
Yeah.
things. The body reacts really strangely to stress at times.
Right.
So
That's where you got to be careful and not let the not have the bias get you. But
right.
you got to have some. You got to have
Right.
some.
Right. Now, if the Bigfoot's been, coming into their house and sitting down and bother, taking stuff out of their cabinets with no receipts, then I may have a problem with that. Or the Bigfoot appears in their living room, daily, then I may have a problem with that. But if somebody sees something that's a little bizarre outside the woods, okay, let's take a look at it. Maybe it's
Right.
maybe it's not a Squatch, maybe it's something else. So that's why I don't. Right.
For those ones that have Bigfoot in their living room, if you're on the phone, you can ask them, "Is Bigfoot in the room with you now?
Yeah.
Can you put him on the phone?"
Yeah.
Igor.
Hey, look who snuck in. Kaiju Ninja 1985. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Welcome.
Yep.
Good to see
And
you.
you're right. Sighting reports are definitely necessary. That's how we build our intelligence on. And of course, I've always stressed that the major thing about a sighting report is to look at the behavior exhibited.
Right.
Because that behavior will tell you where where it resides on the primate habitation schedule. So if it's being aggressive, guess what? You may be in a territory.
Yeah.
So
pay close attention to what it's doing.
Right. Exactly. So that's that one. I mean, it's to me, it's reports are the crux. Plus, how are you going to pinpoint where to go?
Right.
I've had, I had a conversation with Jeff this morning, Jeff Harding over at Pine Island Research.
Mhm.
And we were talking about, how he's been in the woods for many, many years, with field guides and stuff like that. And as a field guide, never saw anything. And that's why, again, it's just needles and haystacks. And that's why you need to be where the Sasquatch are and where they are reported. You need to take a look at that map. You need to take a look at behaviors. You need to understand what the behaviors mean.
Right.
And from there, you can say, okay, I need to be here on the map.
Yeah.
Right. And only then maybe you'll start getting some evidence or some experiences or some intelligence. If not, and I learned that, like I said, that was my, in 2010, I kind of sat straight up and had the epiphany is like, been running in circles for like the last, how many years, 12 years at that point.
Right.
There's got to be a better way. And sure enough, and I've given that system to you as well, Chris, and that's worked for you.
Yeah, it works.
And, again, 2 sightings and, the year after that and the year after that, but I've always been going to that particular area. I just really didn't rationalize why until I started looking at behavior models. But anyway.
Okay.
On to the next story.
Next one.
Story. So the next one, that's all you.
Oh, yeah. Paul Giamatti has a podcast on YouTube where he talks about Godzilla and Bigfoot sometimes. Now, I did listen to the one about Bigfoot. It had a little bit. It was mostly about this white moose, but it was interesting anyway. Okay. A few weeks ago, I asked if you knew Paul Giamatti is dating the actress who played his dominatrix in Billions. Now that this question has been answered, you do. I'd like to ask another. Did you know Paul Giamatti has a podcast where he has in-depth discussions about Bigfoot? Now, not every one of them is about Bigfoot. His insistence on wanting to play a big ape suddenly makes a lot more sense. On Chinwag, which is the name of his podcast, the Oscar-nominated actor and his co-host, author and philosopher Stephen Asma have a freewheeling series. Excuse me, Stephen. I'm sorry. I think it's asthma. Okay. Anyway, have a freewheeling series of conversations that dive deep, like really, really deep, into the wilderness of the mind. The podcast description reads, they ask questions like, are we living in a simulation? And what's the most perfect sentence in literature? And they also cover science and the occult, philosophy, magic mushrooms. It's all fair game. But mostly Bigfoot and Godzilla and the Loch Ness Monster, like here. And at the article, it's got some links to the YouTube channel you can click on. But Mark Maron says, "Who are you guys?" Paul Giamatti, Bigfoot. In a recent episode, Giamatti and Asma read a letter from Keith, an airline pilot in Idaho, who shares his incredible UFO sighting and belief in interdimensional Sasquatch travel. Okay.
Yeah.
Before talking to a guest, Natasha Lyon, about her, among other topics, doomsday preppers and body horror movies.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And they interviewed Tom Hanks. If Giamatti wins an Oscar, he better thank Bigfoot in his acceptance speech after going to In and Out. Of course, if you can listen to every episode of Chinwag here, another link to the YouTube channel. And thanks to Sriracha, I guess that's it, for bringing the podcast to my attention. And I listened to some of the Chinwag episodes, not all of them. Of course, there's a lot. And man, it's fun. It really is. And since it's that time of year to where a lot of us are stuck inside, it's definitely worth checking out Paul's channel because it's funny. He's got some good stuff.
Well, I did put some feelers out to Paul to get me on the show. We'll
Yeah.
see how that pans out, because sometimes these guys get thousands of emails and they don't run through them too often. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, I would Paul Giamatti, one of my favorite actors.
Me too.
Starting with, I remember him in the Private Parts movie by Howard Stern where he played Pig Vomit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hysterical.
Well, yeah.
He was so good, and he was so good in that, especially the point where they were doing the match game, and,
Yeah.
and you just see Giamatti's face, like, and he's running through the offices. That was hysterical.
Oh man, dude, Paul Giamatti, he is an actor. I mean, I loved him. And John Adams, my favorite. Okay, of course, you know,
Yes.
I love historical stuff too. But
Yes,
what a piece! It was great. It was great.
That John Adams miniseries, was awesome. And not only does he do a great portrayal of John Adams, but it teaches you a lot about John Adams too. Like, people don't realize that he defended the British in the Boston Massacre trial. Just amazing.
Yeah.
So great. And of course, he did do a cameo in Saving Private Ryan. And he made through it, as did.
I didn't catch that. I missed it. Yeah. Shoot.
If you look at the slide on the right, there's his cameo, and he's he lives through the movie. We don't really see him. He's not part of the platoon, but he does live. He doesn't get, and they end up him and his unit commander was another cameo by Ted Danson. Yeah. So if you remember that role where Ted Danson was in that, I believe Giamatti played the sergeant of that crew. Ah,
okay. It's been a while since I'd seen that movie, but mainly I was watching Tom Hanks through that show.
Yep. But, great show. And of course, rest in peace, Tom Sizemore, who played the excellent sergeant.
Yeah.
But here's a little known fact that Paul Giamatti's dad was the late Bart Giamatti, who was baseball commissioner, and he's the guy who gave Pete Rose the lifetime suspension for gambling on baseball.
Well,
and
somebody had to do it.
Yep, and Kaiser's in. Vin Diesel was in it. There was a few others in it too.
Oh yeah.
It was just a great cast. There were a lot of cameos in that throughout the whole thing. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah,
you know, the
Cause
reason, here's another little trivia fact. The reason why baseball is so adamant about gambling on, players gambling on baseball
Mhm.
goes back to the 1919 Black Sox scandal, where 8 of 9 players were convicted of throwing the World Series when the White Sox were in the World Series in Chicago.
Mhm.
And 8 of the 9 of them got lifetime bans for gambling on baseball, basically throwing the game to meet spreads. And yes, they were kind of, strong armed to do it, but they did it nonetheless. And I believe it was Shoeless Joe Jackson who was the only one that survived that whole thing. And there it is, Mick says Shoeless Joe. And there's 2 movies. If you ever want to know this story, interesting story about baseball. You may not be a baseball fan, but interesting story. I would recommend watching 2 movies in this order. The Ninth Man Out, starring John Cusack as Shoeless Joe.
Mhm.
And then after that, watch Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, because where Ray Liotta plays Shoeless Joe.
Oh, yeah. Another great actor.
Right. And you got to watch another late great, died way
Right.
too young.
Yeah.
And you watch, you can understand. So you'll understand Field of Dreams a lot better if you watch The Ninth Man Out, or maybe it's The Eighth Man Out. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's great movies. And you're right, Don. Plenty of corruption in Chicago at the time. It was the time of it was the rise of the mob there, and it was just about ready to get a new mob leader by the name of Al Capone. A really interesting time there. But anyway, so our final topic of the night is going to be more clickbait from Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. And in case anybody wonders, is that I discovered just this past week, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch has blocked me from their Facebook pages. I can't see the Facebook page anymore.
Oh, no.
Luckily, I have plenty of other resources.
The pain.
The pain. Actually, it's a badge of flippant honor. But anyway, go ahead, Chris. Read that story again.
Okay. Well, yeah, this one was posted in Cowboy State Daily. And the title it comes up is After Wyoming Couple Gets Video of Bigfoot in Colorado, He Pops Up in Utah. Now, that's kind of strange. We'll get to that, but that's kind of a strange title for this. So it says video supposedly showing a Sasquatch tearing across a snowy slope in the Utah mountains on Wednesday seems authentic to a Cheyenne couple who captured video of their own Bigfoot encounter in Colorado.
Okay, hold on. Read that one sentence back.
It said the video supposedly showing a Sasquatch tearing across a snowy slope in the Utah mountains on Wednesday seems authentic to a Cheyenne couple who captured Bigfoot of their own, had captured video of their own Bigfoot encounter in Colorado.
Okay, so let's stop right there.
Yeah.
We are looking at the Utah video here.
Right.
Not the video they captured.
Right. Yeah. That's old news. Yeah.
Right.
But it's not that old news, though.
No.
And this article is dated February 2nd, 2024.
Yeah.
So, okay, first Colorado, now Utah. When will it be Wyoming's turn for a viral Sasquatch video? A video posted Wednesday that claims to have been shot through a telescope from 3 miles away shows someone or something traversing a steep, snow-covered mountain slope in Utah. The video has gone viral across social media. The people who took it claim that it's footage of Sasquatch because no human could move like that over such steep terrain in the Wasatch Mountains. There's also a video taken later, supposedly showing the creature's footprints in the snow. The footage seems genuine to a Cheyenne couple, Shannon and Stetson Parker, and they would know. The Parkers claim to have also spotted and captured video of a Sasquatch in October from a train in Colorado. We remember that one. So that is so cool that they got the tracks, Shannon told Cowboy State Daily after viewing the Utah video for the first time Friday. The ever elusive creature resurfaces, Stetson Riley added.
Did they say who got the tracks?
Oh, no.
Of course not,
No.
because the tracks were probably provided by Rocky Mountain Sasquatch.
Right. So, you may skip the part about the Colorado Bigfoot. I think we all know the story.
Yeah,
about
we all
that
know
one.
the story. So anyway, the minute I saw this, I realized that this looks like a little bit of a recirculated video.
It looks familiar, doesn't it?
Sure does. So, well, I found out that 11, and the reason why I look familiar was 11 months ago, we actually did a video on this very video. And I apologize for the sound quality of the video and the background music. This is very early in my editing. My editing has gotten a lot sharper since. So here it is. And again, my apologies for the horrible audio in the background. But, we have learned. But here is the video I put out 11 months ago. Hey folks, sorry this is late. Been a busy couple of days for the old Squatch Detective, but this video came out a week or two ago. Ogden Mountain, Utah, which is right near Roy, Utah. We have, thanks to our good friend, the doctor, we have figured out what is going on here. This video came out from Fisher's Fishing and Hunting channel on YouTube. As you can see, this is his second Bigfoot video. We got 2 Bigfoot videos in 2 separate days. From one of the videos, we can see he's using likely a 20x60 Wawin monocular. Running price is about $125 to $150 on Amazon. If you look at what we're seeing here from the video itself, he is shooting this from way back. He's shooting over an interstate. He's shooting over another suburban area. My question is why is he the only one seeing these Bigfoot? There are people that are a lot closer to that don't need a binocular to see just as good and more clearly on that mountainside, but yet nobody's reported another thing. So we actually verified the address he shot it from, and as you're looking, this is the street view for it. Coincidentally, the guy's name is Fisher that owns the residence. As you can see by the map, this is the area that these alleged Bigfoots were taken from, and as you can see, it's very exposed to the suburban side there of Roy, Utah, and it's right on the other side of a major ski lodge. What we're likely seeing here, folks, is cross-country skiers, people using the other side of the mountain, aside from the paid side of the ski resort, to have some outdoor activities. Nothing here to see. This Bigfoot is not acting very Bigfoot-like, trying to keep itself concealed, especially to that suburban population of Roy, Utah. My guess here is that Mr. Fisher got a new toy for Christmas, and he's been using it to look at the mountain. Obviously, he's a hunter, so he's using that to hunt animals, and of course with the mountainous terrain, that would work wonderful for where he resides. But now he's kind of just testing it out, playing it, using some video, and why not throw a Bigfoot in there to make things interesting? That's what I think's going on here, folks. Hey, listen, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching the channel. You like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. And there you have it.
Yeah.
So
that looks like the same video. But this is supposed to have been shot after the people made the video back in October in Colorado.
Supposedly. Looks like the same stuff to me. You notice how it's very narrow?
Yeah.
It's never wide because there's that big warehouse in front of the guy's house. Right. So what he's doing is he's shooting over that, looking at that one strip. And he's watching skiers and what I believe are people snowshoeing as well. Right. Walking across the mountain, because that's what people do at ski resorts. They snowshoe, cross country, ski, and this is what this guy's capturing. Let me put it, and he's just testing it in front of his house. Oh, let me put a Bigfoot video out. Maybe I'll get some views from my 46 subscribers. Right? Maybe I'll get more subs than my 46 subscribers. But anyway, we did ask our resident expert, Ralph the Rating Coyote, to render his verdict on this video.
I'll tell you, Ralph.
Yeah, this is Ralph's first appearance on the show, so please be lenient to Ralph. Here it is. Well, I guess Ralph has had his say.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tend to agree.
I'm just waiting for the chat to light up when they see that, because there's a little bit of a delay when we talk when the chat pops in. But that was Ralph's.
Ralph the Rating Coyote, his debut appearance on Squatch-D TV. Oh, excuse me, the Bigfoot News.
The Bigfoot News. That's right.
The Bigfoot News. Yeah.
But Rowdy Route snuck in.
Yeah,
there we are. Everybody's mixed as I'm with Ralph.
me too.
Yes.
Me.
Yeah, so Ralph will be making his appearance every once in a while, so I'm sure that'll yeah,
This stuff
again,
is making its rounds, and that was something. I think that's something old. Now I've not done a side by side comparison, but I'll tell you what, that looks really, really close or exact.
right. And it even said they used a spotting telescope.
Yeah.
Spotting on a snowy mountain, doing the same thing the guy did a year ago. Again, what's old is new again.
Right.
So
I mean, it seems to me like if you're like 3 miles away and you see something on the hillside that may be a Bigfoot,
right.
Couldn't you get in your car and like drive a little closer?
Well, Rowdy, we're glad to have you here and as a member too. And
Rowdy, welcome. Thank you.
So I have definitely got a lot of material going, and just to note, because he's a member, I definitely have a lot of material that's going to be going to the membership area. I've been the nice thing is I've had this wonderful shift change, so now I'm able to do a lot more work on the channel, and so we're getting it done.
Yes.
And I'm not a tired old man anymore. I'm just an old man.
No more.
Right.
Life of the Living Dead from third shift.
Yeah, I'm so much of an old man. Yeah, just give me a 350-pound person to lift.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
But anyway, yeah, it's we will be doing it. It's very interesting how, and there'll be another video coming out. But if you look at the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch's Facebook page, every time they post a video up there, they disable comments. Now, why would you disable a comment to encourage discussion? Why would you do that? Now, I'll be quite frank. I don't disable comments here. We monitor them. Now there's a lot, like our members are all pre-approved to post.
Right.
And some of our long-term audience members are allowed to post.
Yeah.
That without restrictions. So the minute they put a post up, it goes up. That's because they've earned our trust.
Right.
Not that other people are in chat that we, I can't get everybody, but because it takes they don't make it easy on YouTube to pre-approve people to make comments at will. I got to go to their actual page and copy URLs and do all that stuff, but I got it done.
And I think it's a good thing to deplatform trolls because don't give them the benefit
of right. And like I said, somebody wants to disagree. We allow the disagreement in there.
Sure.
Just don't get insulting, because I've had people say that they put up a really nice argument and then they make a comment, "You're just naive." Okay, boom, you're gone. You're gonna start name calling, boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
And that's what they tend to do. The Stanlings were notorious for that, or, "Oh, you're just jealous." Okay.
Well, yeah.
And that's something, let's face it. People will say, "Oh, well, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch or whoever has all these subscribers." Yeah, big deal. I've been on network TV. I've been on Fox and Friends. I've been on hundreds of podcasts. Yeah. I don't hide behind anything. My name is out there. I am who I am. I'm not a screen name. I'm not anything that sort per se.
Right.
I'm willing to go out on a limb and say how I feel about things.
Yeah.
What I think of things. And I give my reasons for it. And a lot of times, and this is what, when I put evidence out there, I try to put as many receipts as I can out for that evidence.
Right.
Because without receipts, it's just nothing. And does it get me angry that, okay, I get NVTV doing what they're doing. I get it. Brian, and this all goes back to our first episode. Jay says he thinks that we're all nuts. What I detest is somebody saying that they're an investigative organization, have websites. Oh, we do this, we do that. And they put out this clickbait with no deep dive into it. Just, oh, this is what the person said. And, oh, well, it looks like it. It's the same, pardon the French, it's the same bullshit that we saw 10 years ago, 12 years ago with Facebook Find Bigfoot. We're going to take every video and we're going to try to explain it away why it's real.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Instead of actually looking at it as we should as a legitimate investigator or as a legitimate researcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Where, let's look at terrain. Let's look at, the background. Let's take a look at this stuff. But no, none of their content or hardly any of their content is original. These are just replays of people that are sending them stuff, or maybe they are original and they're just people in costumes. I don't know. I don't know that.
I've noticed, like, a lot of times you'll have a lot of mid-October through mid-November videos that come out, and it's usually because the guy bought a gorilla suit for Halloween and he's having fun with it, And there are some cases where that's okay. I like, what was his name? The Sasquatch guy that does it. Butchie Kid. Yeah, Butchie Kids.
Yeah.
The Butchie Kid videos. Of course, those are just
ridiculous. Obvious parody, right?
Yeah, he's not trying to pretend.
Peter Kane, another very dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
But you realize after a while the guy is just having fun.
Yeah.
Right? He's not trying to be serious. He's acting serious, but he's not trying to be serious.
Right. Nobody's literally going to believe that a Sasquatch steals a guy's dirt bike and rides it away.
Now, I will say this: we will be talking a lot about the massacre theory and the Gatewood enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks down the road when we talk to Brent Hill, we'll be talking about that. And the RMSO came out as somebody, but I found out very early what they were about. And I'll explain this. When RMSO first came out, I did not know any. They didn't really have much material out. They were kind of new and unknown. And Kelly Shaw had emailed me and asked me, "Hey, listen, can we do a link exchange?" And we did. Okay, sure. Here's my link. Here's your link. I posted a link on the very early days of squatchdetective.com, our friends, blah, 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 blah.
All
right. And what ended up happening is I go back maybe 6-7 months later and my link is nowhere to be found. So I'm like, fine. Took his link down. And that was that. No hard feelings. Okay, you know what? Maybe you forgot. I don't know. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. No, I don't think he forgot it all now. And seeing what I see now, I believe that, he was just trying to get as many people to propagate his site as possible.
Right.
Yeah,
that's why they do those clicky videos. And, I see that kind of stuff on YouTube all the time, and everybody else does too. Like the newest free energy device, click here. Oh, man.
Kaiju Ninja asks, what about Marble Mountain campground footage? Brent just did a video on. Would you do a show on that? I don't want to go and repeat what Brent's doing necessarily. Um,
Yeah, we can ask it about it when it comes on. You know,
right.
but
And thank you, Rabbit Homesteading. We love this group too. But anyway, Chris, it's 9:56. I know people
yeah.
are going to be going over to Jeff's show over at Pine Island Research.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
Well,
I want to make sure I get off in a timely manner for him. But do your thing, Chris.
yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for joining us in chat and all our lurkers. We love you guys. We love if you're listening to us on the podcast on the what is it? I'm not going to go through them all. It's iHeartRadio and that long line that Steve mentioned earlier. But we appreciate you guys. Make sure you stop by the YouTube channel. And if you're the first time listening or you've not been to the YouTube channel before, hit the subscribe button. Okay. You know, get notifications, stay notified. Smash the thumbs up. You know, give us a like. It helps. It helps the videos get found. And, you know, we don't do any kind of promotions or anything like that. So this is going to be basically word of mouth with the algorithm. Again, thank you everyone in chat. We appreciate you guys. We're honored to be here with you. And we do this because of you and we wouldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Hey, and just a couple of notes again. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're making this show a success. It's off to a good start. And I also want to say this: if you haven't checked out our swag store, the link is down in the description now. Check it out. Is get your Joan Get Me a Snapple t-shirt. Right there's one of those. What would Sasquatch do t-shirt, and plus the branding t-shirts, and not only we have shirts, we have some hats, some winter hats, mugs. We even have a Don't Get Me a Snapple mug. They make great gifts. They make all kinds of fun things. So check it out. But as for me, we love you all, guys. I thank you for being here. And I want to thank all our members, our subscription members. We got a lot of stuff coming, man. I'm getting excited. It's like I found a gaggle of all a bunch of stuff today. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is great member stuff. And we're going to really be enticing other people to join because some of the stuff we're going to be putting out there, nobody else is going to get. So, lastly, join us this Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I know it's Super Bowl. Just bring your chicken wings. Leave the game up on the side. Bring your chicken wings. Plop yourself in front of your computer or your phone or whatever, however you want to watch it. And check it out. We're going to have Dr. Jeff Meldrum on this week on Squatch-D Live. So anyway, folks, on behalf of me and everybody else, have a wonderful night. God bless and keep on squatching. We'll catch you all next week.